And we are live. So, welcome to everybody. Let's do a little sound check here this afternoon and make sure that I can be understood. Barry, if you want to say something, make sure you can be understood.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone.
We have 33 concurrent viewers right now. Hoping to break 100 today. We'll see what happens. We got about 2 minutes until game time. Oh, yep. I think Dave Kroger heard us. Yep, we're loud and clear. Everybody can hear us. So
Good.
we are in good shape right now. I see. Oh, yes, all the comments are starting to stream in for me now. We've got all kinds of people. We've got some Cedar Rapids people that I recognize. We've got some people from the central Iowa area. We've got one guy logged in from Michigan. Our concurrent viewers are continuing to ratchet their way up. Oh, and I hear a cell phone that needs to be silenced. I'm calling you out, Barry.
Who? What? Who?
Yeah. I'm not the one that called you. I'm calling you out for silencing your phone. You better take care of that.
It's all handled, sir.
Oh, good. Apparently you've never done live radio before.
Well, just happen to have the phone sitting right by the computer,
Yes.
so you'd be able to hear it easily.
Oh, we've got Coggin, Iowa online today. The hub of railroad activity there in east central Iowa.
Cool.
We've got somebody from Canada. We've got Missouri.
Huh.
Many people from the Lynn County area.
Mm-hmm. Well, the text I just got was railroad related, if that makes sense.
If that makes a difference, yeah, that makes it okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. All is forgiven now. Yes.
Oh, good.
All right, so I have 1,500. Oh, we have Jacksonville, Florida. Sean Olin is on here. An Iowa transplant. So, yes. All right, I have 1,500. We are going to get this thing started. Welcome to everybody. Thank you for attending. This is our 4th live stream we've done. The 2nd consecutive month we've pulled this off. We are going to continue doing this for the foreseeable future. This is Cedar Rapids Rail Fans and the Iowa chapter of the NRHS. And I feel like I should be playing Hail to the Chief. We have the president with us today of the Cedar Rapids Rail Fans, Barry Anderson. He's going to be presenting his material with us today. So, Barry, say hello to everyone.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome, and I hope you enjoy the show.
Yes. So usually at the beginning of Cedar Rapids Rail Fans, we start out with some kind of a news or some kind of railroad-related event that's going on. Last month we talked about all the CN heritage units. I know there's been pictures of those floating around quite a bit. And so this month, I feel like it's appropriate to talk about the logistics park that's going in on the southwest side of Cedar Rapids. That's going to be a pretty big deal that the Krandic and, well, Trevero, the owner of the Krandic, is the one that's actually putting it together. And that's supposed to be operational sometime here in the year of 2021. So that's going to be a reload center and bring a little more rail traffic into the Cedar Rapids area, it would seem. Anyway, that's all I have for news right now. I see we're up to 49 concurrent viewers. I am going to throw out a couple of programming notes. We are going to be back next month in December. We are going to have an Andy Brown show. He's another officer of the Cedar Rapids Rail Fans, and he is going to be providing our show in the month of December. We have Dana Grief lined up. He is going to show us some pictures of the former CNW, and that's going to be our January show. And in February, we are going to do a pre-recorded show. It is not going to be live. I have my next child is due in the month of February, And so we're going to be taking a month off and doing a pre-recorded show in February. And after that, we'll pick back up with live shows in March. So we have quite a few presenters lined up, actually all the way through June of next year. So I'm pretty excited about this project and the response that we've gotten to it. So hopefully we're able to keep this up and keep it going for as long as possible. As far as the Iowa chapter goes, I encourage everybody to look into joining the Iowa chapter, checking out our website. I put it in the comment box when I started out here. Our website is great. It has lots of materials. We have calendars for sale. We have CDs, photo collections for sale. Lots of great stuff that we have out there. You can join or renew your membership. Anybody that gets back in and renews as a member now is good for next year. So go ahead and check out that website and make sure and join if that's of interest to you, or order any of the great material that we have available. So with that all having been said, let's kick off the slideshow. Mr. Anderson, I am going to hand it off to you, and we are going to go ahead and flip right over to your first slide. So tell us what we're looking at.
All right, well, what I've done here is I've assembled a number of images that I've shot, in the last several months in southeast Iowa. We'll see some Iowa Interstate, some Canadian Pacifics, BNSF, little Union Pacific, etc. And what we're going to do is we're going to be going back in history. So we start off, this is a shot, Iowa Interstate, obviously. This is BICB, the road train with the Blue Island to Council Bluffs train at Chambers Avenue in Oxford. There's kind of a nice S-curve there, as you can see, the train trailing off in the distance.
I'm always a fan of these long distance stretched out shots where you can see the train traveling through multiple curves. I really enjoy these.
Yeah. I've had mixed results at this location, but I thought this one turned out okay. And this is the same train coming through Downey, Iowa. That old elevator is a nice backdrop to use.
So you would have actually shot this before the shot at Oxford, but it's fine.
These first few shots are a little out of order, so I tried to fix that later in the show.
Yeah, just so that everyone's aware. Downey is actually east of Oxford, but the train is traveling west.
Yep. Okay. All right. This is another day. This is a shot of the CB&Q depot, the Pilot Grove depot, that was relocated to move to New London at some point, and it's a nice little museum. I didn't see anything anywhere as to when it might be open.
There's a very nice mural in the background that they've got as well.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this is a shot from the same day. This is an empty coal train. This is at New London. We got obviously a CN SD75 there that I was not expecting to see. It's rather unusual power for a BNSF coal train, but I thought it was kind of neat. All right. Okay, well here's the first shot of that train coming at me. Say I'm just east of New London a little bit. All right. And this was a day I just loaded the dog up with me and we went for a drive, and wherever we went is where we went. This is the CB&Q depot at Winfield. Kind of an odd little depot.
So this was on the branch line from Burlington up to Washington? Correct.
And then the line at one time split there and went off to the west. But that was abandoned. That part was abandoned in the 1930s, I think.
Right. The branch line up to Washington lasted up into, what, the 60s or 70s?
Oh, it was still there. No, until the late 70s, early 80s.
Yep.
There's a bridge failure on the Rock Island that doomed it. Okay, so this is the CRSA, or the Cedar Rapids to South Amana. They've come down from Cedar Rapids. This is at the crossing at Homestead, so they pulled up this far, and then they'll shove into the Iowa Interstate Yard at South Amana. Yeah. You see, okay. This is a shot of them coming up the Y at South Amana. This is the east leg of the Y at Yoakum.
Are the vultures circling because the crew is dead on the train? Is that the story we're
Well,
telling here?
You never know. If that's the case, they were misinformed. Okay. Now this is a trip. We're going back probably another week or two. This is down in Albia. This is the Iowa Southern number 116, the former Appanoose County unit. When the Iowa Southern crew ended their day, obviously they ended it at Albia. Their other unit is in the background. We'll get a shot of that in a moment.
Yep, the black switch engine there, and the just hiding out of sight.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is the DPU on a coal train, on a coal train going through Albia. Wasn't a big day for trains that day, but I did get a few.
Those extra vents or the grill covers on the side there, behind the conductor's side of the cab, those are, I always find those to be bizarre looking now.
Yeah. I would agree. Okay, here's the head end of this train. Like I say, I hope I fix these chronological issues later on in the presentation. Kind of threw me for a loop when I first saw it, but...
Yeah, so this is the head end power of the same train.
Yep, correct. All right, now we're going to see some stuff. This is some collection of stuff that was on the interchange track with the Iowa Southern Railroad. So we got this nice, got BNSF 1745 sitting here, apparently ready to, well, I guess I don't know if it's just coming or going, but...
Was Albia actually setting these up for remote control? Is that why they were going down there?
I don't know. I've noticed that a lot of the locomotives that are on that interchange track are labeled remote control, so I don't know. Not sure if they're coming in that way or going out.
Yeah, maybe somebody will pipe in the comments on that, but I believe they were doing remote control work or remote control installations down there at Albia.
I wouldn't be surprised. And 1643. These are just shots of locomotives that were sitting down there. I thought were kind of cool.
Yep, another SD40.
Yep. Yeah, I'll always take pictures of those.
They are becoming a rare breed, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. And another shot of 1745. Just thought I'd get a broadside on that one. This is right handy there at the school in Albia, so you can take pictures and not even close to trespassing on railroad property. Here's the other Iowa Southern unit, the 1595. It's not nearly as photogenic as that old Jeep is, but it was there, so I shot it.
Yep.
And the NIWX 4201, and I think the other one was the 4200. We'll see in just a second. They were down there. This is in the little yard, and kind of in downtown Albia there. But I'm told that's the Northern Illinois and Wisconsin Railway. It's a locomotive sales and leasing company.
Yeah.
I understand this one and the other one down there has since been sold. Sold and relettered.
Of course.
There's 4202. Okay.
Yep.
Stand corrected. And another, we're going back probably another week. This is, we're in late October now. This is the old Rock Island Depot, now the UP in Sheraton, Iowa. I kind of just stumbled onto this depot. I knew it was there, obviously, but I didn't have any idea where it was. And I was just driving down the street and turned into a dead-end street, and I pulled in to turn around, and oh, there's the depot. I'll take a picture of it.
It looks like it's still in use. Is this a maintenance away headquarters now?
Yeah, it appears that the Union Pacific is still using it, but I couldn't tell you for sure. Earlier in the day, I went on a bike ride, and and then the following shot are just a couple shots of some relics on the line. This is a line, the CB&Q line that went southwest out of Sheraton down to Humiston and on then southwest from there. But I thought this was pretty cool.
Yeah, there's certainly not many examples of those concrete crossbucks or concrete posts for crossbucks remaining.
Well, that's for sure. And one other one, a whistle post. All right, then, going back, I got a phone call from a friend and said that the UP 2001 was on the point of a westbound, so I headed up to Norway that day, and I think I got 3 or 4 trains while I was waiting for this one. But so this was taken at Norway, and you can see there's some damage on that old elevator in the background from the big windstorm that came through in August.
Yeah, I was just going to say this almost has to have been post August 10th. But
Yep.
then look at all those spindly little antenna towers that are on top of the shed on the left that apparently didn't get blown off.
Yeah, they all survived somehow. Yeah. Got another SD behind the 2001.
Yeah.
I almost didn't pay any attention to that when I was shooting, but
A rare pair for sure.
yes. And if I see an interesting car in the train, I'll take a shot of it. Obviously, an SP car, now relettered for Arizona Eastern. And here was another westbound that through Norway, 8687. I was actually surprised. I got a nice variety of trains up there in Norway that day.
Yeah, certainly.
Oops. And we got an eastbound. Bunch of auto racks on this one. Okay, we had this BNSF anniversary unit that came in on I forget what it came in on, but this is taken out at the Iowa Interstate south of Manna Yard. Came on a train off BN and went up to Cedar Rapids. Might have been a coal train. So anyway, I went out to south of Manna to take a shot of it, and well, I got this rather crummy shot, but it was better than nothing at all, I guess.
Well, honestly, what's a heritage unit shot without some plate steel in the foreground?
Well, exactly.
Yes.
Could have been worse. Okay. Let's see. Oh, September 29th is the date I had on this. Again, unfortunately, these are backwards, but oh well. So the Iowa Interstate brought a transformer east, and then brought it as far as Iowa City, where they handed it off to the Cedar Rapids and Iowa City Railway. And Krandick then took it on down south to Hills. So this is taken at Hubbard Feeds in Iowa City on the Krandick, which of course was former Rock Island, former Burlington, Cedar Rapids, and Northern. This is a shot of them on the bridge over the Iowa River.
Yeah, just south of Highway 6 here.
Yeah. And there's power on the other span of the bridge. Unfortunately, the photographer did manage to not get a shot of the entire train on the bridge at one time. Not exactly sure how that happened, but it did.
You think the crew was a little nervous taking that big transformer load through that overhead bridge?
They were going really slowly, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
So here the Krandik is getting ready to couple onto that transformer load.
Yep, this is the hill track in Iowa City.
Yes, the hill track is behind us. This is what the Iowa Interstate calls Maiden Lane. It's the interchange between the Krandik and the Iowa Interstate. So the Iowa Interstate has cut their power off the transformer load, and there were a couple of empty hoppers behind them, so they've coupled onto those, and they're shoving the whole works back. This is looking north. Okay, so the transformer here is actually on the hills track.
Yep.
They came down that at dead slow. They couldn't have been going more than a couple miles an hour. And there were all kinds of guys in neon green safety gear down there. There were people from the Iowa Interstate watching it, people from the Krandik.
They seem particularly concerned about that tree in the background.
Yeah. Well, there were people on the other side of it watching it. So here they are coming down the hill track.
Yep.
Another fan over there to the right. You can see his head there by the stop sign.
Yep, backwards baseball cap. And then the hoppers that are in the far background, that's actually the Iowa Interstate yard.
Correct, and that is actually the westbound, another BICB.
Ah.
We'll see that in a moment. There we are. It's coming around the bend off the yard lead there.
This has to have been the scariest part of the whole move. When I heard about this move, this is the one thing that I thought to myself: if they're gonna go on the ground, it's gonna be here.
Yeah. Well, you'll also notice there isn't an awful lot of clearance between the transformer and that container sitting off to the left there. So.
Oh, I know. That container's been sitting there for decades. You'd think they could have brought somebody in to move it before.
Yeah, it's been there forever.
Uh-huh. And you got the Rock Island Heritage Unit in the background, too, so excellent work lining that shot up.
Yeah, well, thank you. And there's power again for the transformer move. All right, well, here they are earlier in the day. They're just coming up the hill out of Homestead.
So this transformer came out of the bluffs, is that correct?
I want to say it came off the UP at Des Moines, but I'm not 100% positive about that.
All right. I don't honestly remember where the origination of the move was. So.
Yeah. I had actually gone over it the day before and chased it part way, but it was a miserable, crummy, cloudy, rainy day, so those shots didn't amount to much.
All right.
And there's a shot of it. They're just getting ready to leave the Iowa Interstate yard at South Amana. The train there on the other track, I'm assuming, is what will be an SASI, South Amana to Silvis train that will leave later in the day.
Yes, the yard tracks there are actually depressed a little bit, lower than the...
Yeah, yep, yes they are. And another shot. A little closer in this time. All right, now we're going to go down. This is September 26th or thereabouts, according to my records. We are down on BNSF, obviously. This is down near the Cargill Spur, where the Cargill Spur ties into the BNSF main, south of Eddyville. I believe this is the DPU on a coal load.
Yes, we refer to it as the Cargill Spur, but it's actually the former M and St. L main line there.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think that very south end was new construction.
Oh.
Because the M&SL came out to the west of there.
All right.
Maxon, I believe. And there's the head end. Nice SD70 for me.
Pair of pretty looking units there.
Yeah. Okay. So this was the best shot I was able to get with my zoom lens. Best shot I could get without doing some substantial amount of trespassing. And there are stern signs down there advising against it, but in any event, we've got this nice matched set of SD60Ms there, sitting on the Cargill Spur.
I have been corrected in the comments as well. The M and St. L crossed the BNSF at Maxon. Yep.
Okay.
Yep, and all new construction at Cargill. So my apologies for the confusion.
Okay. And another coal train. This is an empty going westbound. We're at the same location.
Train lined up on the other main as well. There you got a clear there.
Yes.
Did you see the other train?
Well, we're still going backwards in time, so that would have been the coal load that we just saw a couple shots ago.
Got it.
So yeah. All right. Well, obviously, since I'm this far, we're gonna be in Albia to see what's at Relco or up on the interchange track. So here we have another SD40-2. This one in a little bit better paint than the other two that we saw.
Yes, and another remote control unit as well.
Yep. Okay, this is a shot down at Relco, just south of Albia. This is on the Iowa Southern. And there's been an awful lot of these 47 and 4800 series BNSF locomotives that have wound up there at Relco. I don't know what the plan is for them. If they're, I don't know what they're in for, but there's a lot of them. And there were also a couple of these two sitting down there. These are former Norfolk Southern units, as you can see now, letter GECX.
Yeah, they're actually in the Genesee in Wyoming.
Yes, they've been repainted in the G&W orange and black, so
be interesting to find out where they ended up.
Yeah.
GECX, so that's actually General Electric Corp leasing.
Right.
Yep.
All right, now we are in Ottumwa. And this was kind of a surprise. I was in Ottumwa and I went downtown just to see if there was anything moving on the BNSF, and wasn't anything going on the BNSF, but all of a sudden I heard a horn and, well, here came the CP. So I shot them as they're sitting parked on the bridge there.
Yes, this is the Des Moines River Bridge.
Thank you for that. I was trying to remember what it was.
Yep. Des Moines River Bridge, just off of the Diamond with the BNSF.
Right. Yep. Head end of the train is in the CP yard there in Ottumwa. And here's a reefer on the train. Generally speaking, if I see a graffiti-free car, I'm going to take a picture of it.
Yes, and a mechanical reefer nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly. That is not going to last long.
Did you zoom in and check the fuel on that reefer while you were at it?
I could have. Yeah, I've got a load of poles on the train also. You know, looks like a couple of loads of poles anyway.
Yep.
And there's a shot of the SD. We got an SD and a GE.
Yeah, that's 7030.
Yeah.
It's got the specialized nose decal.
Yeah, I just noticed that. I hadn't noticed that until just now. And here they are. Power has just gone across the BNSF diamond.
Yep. Connection track in the background there where they receive the coal trains.
And there they are coming down off the hill. I was out there on the bike path when I heard the horn. So
sure.
My timing was excellent, even if it was all pure luck.
Yes, Dave, I think you're correct. This would be a 474 type train. That's most likely.
Yeah, I think it's 474. It would have been somewhere around noon that day.
Yeah.
And then here's a picture of the CB&Q Ottumwa Depot with the for sale sign on it. So.
Yep, you too can own a piece of railroad history.
Yeah, if you'd like to own a big old railroad depot, here's your opportunity. And here's a relatively graffiti-free EN Cascade Green hopper, so I figured that was worth a shot.
Yes, sandwiched in between two modern BNSF covered coil cars.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so this is an agency. I thought it was. This is I believe this is a Lingal. This is the day of the railroad show down at Eldon, as a matter of fact. And I had heard through the grapevine that this train was coming, so after joining the NRHS Iowa chapter, and looking around a bit, I excused myself and headed up to the tracks and got this guy coming through agency.
Absolutely. And we're pleased to have you as a member as well.
Well, thank you. Whoops. Yeah. Anyway, here's a shot of the Norfolk Southern 5036. This is headed for Des Moines to be used as the Norfolk Southern switcher there in Des Moines. But figure a high-nose GP38-2. That's worth a shot.
Every
there
time.
Can't be many of these left on their roster, but there's a handful of them anyway.
They do seem to make it up to Des Moines with some regularity.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say that Des Moines gets all the best power.
And this is in an Iowa Interstate train. This is actually sandwiched in the power.
Yeah. This is out at South Amana again. So I got a call from a friend. Heard this was coming. So this is went down. This is on the CP. This is taken on the Iowa River Bridge between Columbus Junction and Fredonia. But there's this really nice boat landing back there so that you can get right up close and personal with the bridge.
Yep, you even got a little reflection there. The river wasn't completely cooperating, but...
Yeah, not bad.
It still makes for a nice effect.
Yeah, I thought so.
You actually would have been better off if the river was a little higher and all those rocks were showing.
This is true. It would have covered up all the rocks and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
And there's 7007 trailing the CSX-13.
Yeah, was this brand new out of rebuild when you shot this?
I don't know. Couldn't tell you that. There's a close-up of the CSX-13.
So what's the lowest numbered CSX engine that you think you've shot? Is this it?
That may be it right there.
Yeah. I caught the number 4 on the UP probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But that's
I think Andy Brown has a picture of CSX-1 somewhere.
yeah.
Either 1 or 2. And another shot. This is somewhere. I think this is just west or railroad south of Cotter. Well, that one's not as focused as well as I had hoped. But anyway, this is coming over the Crooked Creek Bridge. This is Old Highway 92, just southwest of Washington, Iowa. You can see just at the rear of the CSX unit, there's a drone up in the air. Bradley Grief was out there with me that day.
Yep. I was going to ask you if you knew the ownership of the drone, but yes.
Yeah, I did. And here we are at Cotter. We got a southbound that's pulled into the siding, and they're going to meet that. CSX train, or CSX 13 North. So they're all ready for the meet there at Cotter.
Still those old school Rock Island signals protecting this end of the siding too.
Yep, the Rock Island searchlights are still there on the south end. The signals at the north end were replaced a few years ago.
Yeah.
So they're modern style signals. And they had this guy second out, 4414. Nice and clean. I'll take it.
Yep. I don't think these were rebuilds. I think these were just repaints, if I remember right. These Jeep 38s.
Yeah, it could be. I'm not sure. And there, I guess that one was third out. All right. Anyway, here's the train pulled up, waiting at Cotter. It was relatively early in the morning, so the light was not great
Hey,
to shoot a westbound.
Sometimes you got to take what you can get.
Yep, exactly. Okay, now here's another day. We're at the same location. Had one of the Canadian Pacific units they repainted to honor the military. Here's 7022. Leading northbound, also at the Iowa River Bridge. The water is a little higher this day, but
it is for sure.
Not quite calm enough for a good reflection. But plenty of power on this train. And back again at the Crooked Creek Bridge.
And with another drone up in the air.
Yeah, another drone.
Do you just have drones following you around everywhere when you
That could be a little suspicious.
Yes.
Now, one of those would have been Bradley's, and another one might have been Russ's drone. So I don't know.
Brad denied responsibility for the first one. He thinks that it was.
Oh, okay.
He thinks it
that
was.
Might have been. This one might have been his.
Oh, he's claiming responsibility now for this one. He says this one is his. The first one wasn't.
Okay, I knew it was there for one of them. I went out one day, and this was a trip that really didn't work out as anticipated, but I did wind up in Walker. Took a shot of this old Rock Island former Burlington, Cedar Rapids, and Northern depot. This was on the line that went up to Postville at one time.
Quite the example
out there
of
beside it.
the example of the rib-sided wooden caboose it's quite rare. I don't know how many examples there are of this remaining, but that having been preserved is pretty nice there.
Yeah. And here again, I walked all the way around this depot hoping for a sign of some sort, telling me when it might be open, but I didn't see anything. So, but it's a nice old building. Okay, this is a trip down to Mount Pleasant. I had heard that this Wabash Heritage Unit was going to be in the area, so I made a trip down there, and this is at the West Pass at New London. That's the train in the train with Norfolk Southern Power is a grain train that is headed to Des Moines. It's actually tied down in the siding, and Amtrak number 5 is coming past it. And there's a shot taken from the crossing of the train in the siding. Milepost 226, if anyone cares.
Always a good frame of reference.
Yeah. And here's an eastbound, another Lingall type train. Not sure what it was, but anyway, this is at that same crossing. Just looking the other direction. And there's another shot of the grain train. And that the Wabash unit is not looking nearly as good as the last time I saw it. Gotten kind of dirty. Could use a shot through the wash bay, but I don't think it's had one of those lately.
I feel like that one of our viewers on here found this unit on the UP within the last month or so as well.
Uh-huh. Okay, I think this was the same day. This is also a Lingall type train, but we had gotten word from a spotter in Ottumwa, I believe, that this was coming, so I thought that I'll always shoot a war bonnet, and I'll always shoot the real thing, Santa Fe blue and yellow.
Absolutely.
Nice SD40.
Oh, Dave's correcting me. That was the Lackawanna unit that he got, not the Wabash unit.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, there's a broadside of the 706. Still looks pretty good.
Yep.
This is in the this is the remains of the yard in Mount Pleasant. The depot is just off to the left there.
Somebody's saying that 1614 has now been repainted as well. It's been repainted to the BNSF pumpkin scheme.
Well, it could be. I wouldn't have been surprised if it was ultimately headed for Relco.
Yeah.
Well, if that's the case, I'm glad I got it when I did.
Absolutely.
And here's a train. I suspect this is a train bound for Eddyville, judging by the hoppers behind it.
Yes, those converted coal hoppers they use.
Yeah, they're converted coal hoppers with fabric tops of some sort.
Uh-huh.
And just as I got down to Mount Pleasant that day, here was a rather late Amtrak number 6 that was just started to pull as I pulled up to the crossing. So I got this crummy shot going away.
I don't know. Sometimes you can't help but get crummy shots of those Amtrak engines.
Yeah, this is true. All right. Okay, so we are back in Albia. And this is 1854 was switching that day. I had just missed them. They had just picked up just worked the interchange track with the Iowa Southern, so unfortunately I just missed that, but I did get this shot of them. I think they ultimately went down and shoved everything in the West Pass there at Albia and tied it down. So here's the 5828 parked out in front, posed for the photographer. You can see there's also some CP power behind it.
Yeah, these the BNSF anniversary units. There's definitely they've taken their own take on the anniversary unit. That's for sure.
Yes, they have. So here's a shot of the north leg of the Y at Relco, and as you can see, there's been some new track added in the last few months. There's at least 2 new tracks there.
There has, and it really kind of gives you a feel for the amount of business they're doing down there at Relco as well.
Yeah, it really is curious that they seem to be expanding while the other guys are closing a number of their locations.
Yes, you're
and
talking
NRE
about
is closing their Silvis location, so
yes, trying
and what 2 or 3 others
consolidating.
Yep. So when I first got down to Relco, this 5828 was parked up by the shops. So I thought this zoom lens shot was going to be as good as I got. But after a while, somebody came out and got on the locomotive and moved it right up in front for me, which I thought was very thoughtful of them. You can see behind the 5828, there's one of those Norfolk Southern units that we saw earlier that had been repainted. This one's the 522.
Yep.
Okay, so this is at Homestead. Over the summer, the Iowa Interstate got, I think, two and a half trains of new CWR. This went out on the Atlantic Cutoff, what's called the Atlantic Cutoff, west of Atlantic, to replace the old jointed rail out there that the Rock Island installed when they built the cutoff in the early 1950s. I'm not sure if this was just a partial load or if some had been unloaded elsewhere, but anyway, this is bound for out west between Atlantic and Council Bluffs. And here they are coming around the curve at, this is Kent Park, across the to the north there, across Highway 6 in the background. There's a nice curve there to take shots when the lighting cooperates. And here's another Norfolk Southern switcher that's bound for Des Moines. This one being the 5315. Sublettered for Pennsylvania Railroad.
Yeah, I find it interesting. The NS still does that. Still leaves the original owners on there with some of these units.
We won't see a picture of it, but not too long ago I saw one of these GP38s that was sublettered AGS for Alabama Great Southern.
Wow.
And here we have the Monongahela Heritage Unit, the 8025. Okay, this was immediately after the derecho that hit, big chunk of central Iowa. I was up in Cedar Rapids. I had to go fill a propane tank for a standby generator on a communications tower in Cedar Rapids, and I was sitting up there filling the tank. I saw this boxcar not far from me, so I decided I'd go take a look at it, and I was kind of surprised to see this nice old cotton belt box sitting there. I have no idea what it's used for, but I thought it was kind of cool. And this is my rail fanning companion B. As you can see, she's inspecting the tracks this day. We were chasing this was an eastbound we were in hot pursuit of. Unfortunately, I was hoping to shoot them on the Moscow, or at the bridge on the Cedar River at Moscow, but they stopped short because they were too long to fit into the siding at North Star. So unfortunately they stopped short. And not knowing where the westbound was, Dee and I finally gave up and called it good.
Yeah.
And anyway, this is that eastbound coming up Midway Hill. This is just east of between Iowa City and Downey. It's approximately milepost 229.9.
I'm sure if we could zoom in, we could see that milepost there just off to the right of the.
Yep. Okay, so this was another day of just complete luck. I had gone down for a bike ride on the Kewash Trail, the former one time it was a Rock Island branch that became a short line after the Rock Island went out of business, and then the Kewash didn't last long either. But anyway, it's a bike trail now. But as I was done with my bike ride, I ran into a friend down there, and he advised me that I should stick around because there was a northbound coming with some interesting power on it. So he said it'd be here about half an hour, and I said, okay, I'll wait around. So we had these ballast hoppers on the rear end of the train. Whoops.
Yes, and the conveyor belt car too.
Yeah. But we had these two, for power, we had these two Pac-Man SD40-2s. So that was definitely worth hanging around in Washington for half an hour or so.
That is a rare pair, that's for sure.
Yes, it is.
You almost got them lined up numerically correct also. You were very close.
Yeah. And there's another shot of the leader. I took advantage of the farmer's soybean field to do that. So this is a shot, I was up in Cedar Rapids one day, and this is a shot of the old Milwaukee right-of-way, the old Milwaukee main line. This is east of Marion, and parts of it are now a bike trail. And so I rode out to the end and then went back.
Yeah, how far east of Marion would you say you are right here?
Oh, 4 or 5 miles, something like that.
All right. Not quite all the way out to Peralta at this point.
No. It comes to an abrupt end. Across the gravel road from where I'm standing, it's been turned into a cornfield, so this is as far as this goes.
Gotcha.
Now, the purpose for the mission up to the Cedar Rapids area, this is in Marion. This is the trestle over the bridge, over Indian Creek. I've been a bit naughty. This was closed because they are reconstructing this. I'm not entirely sure what it's going to look like when it's done, but I did actually walk up on the former right-of-way. This is looking east. But yeah. So here's the bridge in question. This is being converted into a bike trail. I don't know. I haven't been up there since I took these pictures, so I'm not exactly sure how much of this has been demolished, what's gone, what remains.
So the bridge,
what it's going to look like when it's done. Go ahead, Tom.
the bridge sections are all down. This is very close to where I live. And they have all the bridge sections sitting there along the creek that it looks like they're going to reuse them. And I believe that center pier to the bridge is going to be reused as well. They're going to rebuild the approaches. So that's my understanding of it.
There's another shot of the approaches. I mentioned to Tom this was a slightly different design than that. It's a slightly simplified design from the former Milwaukee Bridge that we've seen earlier down at Crooked Creek in Washington. These are more of a squared off arch versus the rounded ones down on the older bridge down at Washington. I also went. This is the Union Pacific Bridge. This is up near Quaker Oats. The track on the right has recently been, well, the rail remains on the bridge, but the track is no longer connected. The UP ripped that out over the summer. So it's just the track on the left that remains in service. There you can see that it's been single tracked.
Yep. It used to be a double main, and now they've only been using the one side for a while. I think those switches were actually out of service.
Yeah, probably so. Okay, now, speaking of the Crooked Creek Bridge, we're back down in Washington again. This Boston and Maine 2-bay hopper shows up from time to time, so again, I'll shoot it if I see it. And there was the reason for the trip down this time. We had a CSX leader, the 562, leading one of the CP repaints, 7017.
That is really one of the more impressive heritage schemes that anyone's come up with so far.
Yep. And speaking of heritage units, now we're on the Iowa Interstate. This is at Marengo, Iowa. This was on a grain train that the Iowa Interstate ran over to Heartland Elevator in Des Moines. This is now the loaded train headed back east to Norfolk Southern at Peoria. But I had to get, the lighting conditions, this is late afternoon, and the lighting conditions were somewhat challenging, but finally found a place to make it work. Okay, here they are ducking under this is the Highway 6 overpass between Victor and Ladora, Iowa.
Mm-hmm.
This was the first decent shot I got of them. All right, now we shift we're still on the Iowa Interstate. We're going to move over to Boonville. Over the course of the last several months, the Iowa Interstate built a new bridge over the Raccoon River at Boonville, Iowa. This is the west end of the bridge, and they are a lot of workers down there. And this is the view of the entire bridge. The old bridge in the background is no more. After the track was put into service, not too long after I took these pictures, that old bridge was demolished. And this is a view looking west. You can see both bridges there. We're getting ready to tie the new track into the main line.
Yep, you can see it's not going to quite be a tangent connection, but
no. Okay, this is a trip that I made to Marshalltown. Actually, the purpose of the trip was to go get inside the depot at Belle Plaine, and we'll get to those pictures in a moment. But after I got done with that, I went over to Marshalltown and snooped around there, took a few pictures of this and that, one of which was the 1142 there, a nice, relatively clean UP. Sitting in the yard at Marshalltown, there were 3 or 4 of these Spokane International hopper cars, ballast cars.
Yep, loaded with rock for their next project.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing anything with a Spokane International reporting mark on it before, so I thought that was kind of cool. Okay, these are a few shots I took inside the old Chicago and Northwestern Depot at Belle Plaine. I saw a posting in Facebook one day over the summer that it was going to be open for 3 or 4 hours one day, and so I drove up to take a look. I gotta say, this has to have been a dreary place with those walls covered in that ugly dark gray paint.
I know, and it's getting to be in pretty sad shape now.
Yeah, the building has been re-roofed relatively recently, but before that happened, there was quite a bit of water damage that happened to that old building. This is the bay window on the north side.
Looks like there might actually be new windows in.
Yeah, this is looking out this is looking to the east, out the freight end of the depot. All the time I was in that depot, I was thinking, boy, what a time it would be for a train to come by. But no such luck.
C&W caboose over there on the left by the museum as well.
Yep, yeah, it's on display over there. And there's a picture of the north side of the depot.
Yep, with that bay window showing up real nice again.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, this was another trip down to Mount Pleasant. Again, I was forewarned that this was on its way, so I hustled down to Mount Pleasant, but who'd have thought you'd drive 50 miles out of your way to shoot a Cascade Green SD40-2, but I did it.
Same train?
Yep, same train. Unfortunately, I didn't go to any great bother to take a picture of the trailing unit, but it's not so bad either. Okay, this is out, again, we're out at the Cargill Spur at south of Eddyville. Got another Cascade Green machine out there. 1457.
Yep. A little close-up shot of it.
Yeah, closer up shot. Once again, best I could do without trespassing too much. So actually, without trespassing at all. All right, now we're at Relco again. We got this BNSF rotary sitting out there. A rather faded Santa Fe war bonnet back there, still lettered Santa Fe. There'll be a better shot of that rotary coming up. And back at the yard in Albia, got a couple more war bonnets sitting in the yard there. And up on the interchange track was this set of these GP60s. So 5 of them.
All rebuilt with those wide cabs on them.
Yeah.
They're actually calling them GP60M-3s. That's the rebuild designation for them.
Yep. Yeah, it's lettered on the frame down there. I really like it when they do that for hacks like me.
Oh yeah.
Couple of Reading and Northern hoppers on a train here. This is down on BNSF, just west of Beckwith. And there's some more of the power. I saw the loaded coal train coming east, and as I was out there, I heard another train coming, and whoa, here comes a westbound. All right, we'll have a meet then.
That is a ton of power on that westbound.
Yes, it is. And coming around the corner there. So there's the loaded coal train headed east. A couple of 70 ACEs on the head end. All right, these are some shots that Tom and Dave and Dana might recognize if they're out there.
I was just gonna say, I'm pretty sure I remember this day.
We went over to Nevada in May. One rather chilly May day, but we did get some trains.
We got rained on that day. Yep.
Yep, but here we got a northbound heading up the spine line. Got a southbound coming down the spine line.
Yep. So the train is on the former Rock Island, and the overhead
Yep.
bridge is the CNW double main there.
We had a coal train. This is on the Chicago and Northwestern Maine. We had a coal train that actually had some CNW coal hoppers on it. So
Yeah, this coal train came out of Cedar Rapids that day, didn't it? If I remember correctly, this was an empty hopper train that.
oh, it might have been. Another coal train. I believe we're on the spine line here. Had this Chicago Northwestern box with plenty of graffiti on it, but I shot it anyway.
Yep, this is down at the gravel road crossing by Shipley.
Yeah. Yep, there's the power. We actually did very well on the spine line that day. I think we had as many or maybe more trains than we saw on the main, on the east-west main.
I think it was about 50-50 that day. That's absolutely right.
And there's the switcher at the, well, not sure what that is. That at the elevator or the alcohol plant or whatever. But anyway, switcher
Yeah,
at Nevada.
that was at the industry that was outside of Nevada. Yep.
Right, just west of town.
Well, WSOR paint, but it was a switch engine that they acquired.
Yeah. Okay, now we're back on the Iowa Interstate. This is the Cedar River Bridge at Moscow, Iowa, and this is an eastbound. In the middle of summer, you can get some nice lighting on the north side of the bridge. So I took advantage of it. The biz cars were tacked on to the end of this train today for some reason. Obviously, there was going to be a business train out of the Quad Cities. And here's the head-end power on it, coming over the Cedar.
Heritage on the front and business in the back.
Yep. And coming past the West Liberty Depot. Okay, this was a trip I made over to Grinnell. I'd been at South Amana, I think, and so I figured, well, it's about time for the UP to be coming south through Grinnell. So I headed over to see what I could find, and much to my disappointment, it was one light engine headed southbound, no long hood forward while we're at it. So,
Yeah.
but I took a picture of it, and there they are just north of town, about to go over the bridge over the highway. All right, this is just a shot of some miscellaneous power sitting out at the Iowa Interstate Yard at South Amana. You got one of the slug sets out there, and got some BNSF power in the background. Probably came in on a coal train. There's a Norfolk Southern grain train. Had a couple of these old NW Norfolk and Western hoppers in it. So took a picture of that.
Oop.
Okay. So I promised Tom that I would close with some shots of the Keokuk Junction final run of the F units from a year ago this past summer. However, I don't know if I just buzzed past them in my computer or if I just couldn't find them, but in any event, I decided we'd settle for a few shots of the Keokuk Junction Santa train from, I don't know, 3 or 4 or 5 years ago. So this is as it turned out, this was some of the last shots of the day I took, the 1750.
Yep. ABA consist.
Yep. As you can see, it's starting to get kind of late in the day.
Christmas wreath right up there on the nose.
Mm-hmm. they were being pretty liberal giving cab rides that day, but unfortunately I wasn't ever invited up. So
You just would have had to walk back home anyway. It's never worth it.
yeah, probably so. Yeah, this is at Canton. They're just departing Canton here. Okay, here they are. They're still stopped. They let everybody who was in line got to see Santa that day, so they were in town a little longer than they'd planned on. But like I say, everybody got to see Santa, so that was nice of them. And here's the CB&Q depot in Canton. I think it's owned by the city now. And this is what used to be the Diamond in Canton with the BN, but that line is not there anymore.
The BN and what was the other railroad here?
It's TP&W, I think, wasn't it?
Yes, that's right.
Now there's a shot of the booster yet. A shot of the B unit. And another shot of the 1750. This was a day that I headed down there, got in the car and headed down there and hoped for the best.
Absolutely.
And because I had no idea what the schedule was going to be, but I started running into people with cameras, so I knew I was in the right place at the right time.
Yep. Yeah, we got confirmation that Diamond was the TP&W.
Yeah, I thought it was.
All right. Well, I believe that is the end of the show. So thank you very much, Barry. We appreciate all of your contributions here today. And everyone on YouTube, if you want to make sure and tune back in next month, we're going to do this again in December. The invites are on our Facebook page and on our website. If you want to check that out, I'm going to drop the website into the comments one more time just for good measure. And otherwise, thank you to everyone for participating. We've got lots of positive comments. Everybody enjoyed it. So have a good Sunday afternoon. Have a good rest of your day, and we will see you next month.
Yep, thanks everybody for joining.